Hey, Tom Rabbit! I hope you got this for your recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit!
Okay, Darth Dawkins, this guy Jacob here, I think he's an atheist, and he hasn't had the pleasure of talking with you yet.
Oh, yeah. Pleasure. How are you doing? How are you doing today?
Good. Why are you an atheist?
Well, I don't think that there's any reason that I've been given to believe in God that has convinced me. So I'm an atheist. So, for example, I don't, I don't believe in like a teapot orbiting the sun. Not because it's been proven that such a thing doesn't exist, but simply because I haven't been presented with any good argument that it might. I should consider that as part of my worldview. So
so you don't believe that God is that which is fundamental, instituting what's possible and impossible. Do you then, by default, believe that there is something fundamental that dictates what's possible and impossible, and it's impersonal? Do you believe that?
Something fundamental that dictates what's possible and impossible. So in the rules of logic, there might be certain fundamental assumptions.
I'm not talking about logic, sir. I'm talking about the ontology of reality.
So ontologically, I'm not sure I would.
Okay, God. Okay, listen. Either you believe that something is fundamental to everything, or you don't. Which do you believe?
Sure.
Okay. So then you don't believe. Then you don't believe. No.
I mean, yeah.
Listen. It would be insane not to believe that something is fundamental to everything. Okay. Because then you wouldn't have grounds to object to anything. Now, so you do believe that something is fundamental, but you've decided that you don't want to believe that what is fundamental is a mind, what we call God, right?
Well, I don't know. Can you tell me more about fundamental, like what it means to be fundamental? Ontologically?
It means something. It means something that's foundational, from which all dependent or derivative states derive.
Okay, so something like a self-caused being, like a causa sui.
No, that would be a contradiction in terms.
Okay. So not what the
self-caused. No, listen. Everybody believes something is fundamental, because if you didn't, you wouldn't eat food. You wouldn't behave in certain ways, expecting certain occurrences.
Well, I eat food because I'm hungry.
Right. And if nothing was fundamental, dictating regularity, then you wouldn't eat because you were hungry.
Do you mean in like a causal sense?
Oh my God.
No, I'm just trying to figure out what you're.
All right. Okay. Listen to me. You believe, and everyone else believes, that something is fundamental. Something is foundational. There's a reason why everything exists. Okay. Now,
so you can believe say that.
Over talk me again, and I'm going to server meet you.
Oh, sorry.
Either you believe something is fundamental, dictating what's possible or impossible, or you don't, which would mean that nothing is impossible. That means that anything could be or happen, and you wouldn't be able to object to anything, and thereby destroying all reason and the ability to communicate and to predicate.
So
you believe.
Can I make an objection?
There's nothing to object, because if you object that something is fundamental, then you have no reason whatsoever to assert anything.
Okay. I think that I could be reasonably sure without making statements about with absolute certainty about the contents of my own experiences and perhaps what is necessary.
We're not discussing that right now. Okay. We're not discussing that right now. Okay. You're going down a rabbit trail here. You need to focus on what I'm saying to you. Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to get to a point. Okay. You do not believe in God, which means you do not believe that which is foundational or fundamental to all possibility is a mind, is an agent. So consequently, then you are going to be left with the belief that something is fundamental that is not a mind and that is impersonal. And what is fundamental and impersonal is the basis of why anything exists and why anything is possible or impossible. So do you understand that that's your position?
So I I think that is actually an astute observation, and yes, I could accept that position for this argument. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. So
Because
what is your reason? What is your reason? Because your criterion of belief is that you have to have a reason to believe in what is fundamental is a mind. So what is your reason to believe in what is fundamental that's not a mind? What's your reason for that?
Sure. So I think, I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with like the argument, like the cosmological argument or the argument for motion, or any one of these arguments for God. But I think the problem with them is, even if we
Okay,
accept,
you're not focusing, sir. I'm going
I
to
am.
interrupt here. No, I'm going to cut you off. You're not focusing. Okay. I want to hear you answer the following question. What is your specific reason in believing that there is something fundamental and that it is impersonal?
So if I accept those arguments I was summarizing, I'm left with a first cause that is um, itself uncaused or unmoving. I accept that there is maybe the greatest thing that can be conceived necessarily.
You're repeating the same thing all over again. You're wasting my time.
This is
I interrupted
reason.
you twice.
No,
I interrupted you twice because you are not addressing the question.
Okay, no,
I will ask the question for a third time and then I will shut up. Okay. I'm interrupting for a reason. I'm not interrupting to be a jerk.
No,
I'm interrupting you because you're monologuing and you're not addressing the question. What is your reason to believe that which is fundamental is impersonal?
Right. So if I accept all that, then I'm left with not necessarily believing in, that it is that it is personal, and that it is a mind. So I'm left convinced. So I've yet to hear an argument for why the first cause that has some of the attributes of God also then has.
You're not addressing the question.
So but I have been unconvinced because I just haven't heard an argument.
You're not addressing the question. We're going to have to go over this a fourth time. What is your specific reason to believe that that which is fundamental is not personal? What's your reason for believing that?
I would remain agnostic on that issue.
No, sir, you can't. No, you can't.
So I haven't
Okay, now I understand what the problem is. You're lacking focus and you're lacking comprehension of even what I'm saying to you. Okay.
No, I think I
now,
do.
No, you do not. Listen carefully. And I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but I'm going to have to stop you because you're not focused and you're rambling. Listen carefully. You either believe that what is fundamental is personal, or you believe what is fundamental is not personal. Okay. Are we clear on that point?
I think it is possible to remain agnostic on this issue.
No, sir. No, you can listen to me. Listen to me.
If you lack the reason.
No, sir. Listen to me. You do not know what you are talking about. Let me explain to you why that is categorically false. Okay.
Okay.
You have already acknowledged that you believe that what is fundamental is impersonal. You've already acknowledged that. Do you recall that?
Sure, that was the position I assumed in this argument. So what I'll say is that
no, sir, is that your position?
Yes.
Is that what is fundamental is impersonal?
It would be that I am okay. Yes, it is.
Okay, this is not complicated.
Can I explain why?
You believe that what is fundamental is impersonal.
Yeah. Yes.
Good. So don't give me this stuff about that you're now agnostic.
Okay, but
that is irrelevant.
Okay.
Listen to me. Listen to me. My patience is running out with you.
Okay.
You're not focusing on what I'm saying. You're focusing on your script.
I will try to go along with what you're saying.
Thank you.
try to listen more.
Okay.
All right.
You either believe what is fundamental is a mind and personal, or you believe what is fundamental is impersonal and not a mind.
Sure.
Your position is that what is fundamental is impersonal, that it is not a mind. Now, when you're asked why you're an atheist, why you hold that there is no God, is you say, well, I don't have a reason to believe in God. What is your reason to believe that in fact, what is fundamental is impersonal? What's your reason for that?
So lacking any knowledge about what that would be, I would then not ascribe personhood to it. So not ascribing personhood to it.
Listen to me. You're not addressing the question. Okay. You are either going to ascribe that something is personal or impersonal. The fact that you don't have a reason, okay, to believe it's personal, fine. But what's your reason to believe that it is impersonal?
Sure. No, I do see what the difference is. The difference between asserting a negative thing about something or not making, refusing to make.
Okay, Jacob, focus on my words, Jacob. Jacob, in your view, is what is fundamental and foundational impersonal? Yes or no?
Yes.
How did you determine that what is fundamental is impersonal?
Through my understanding that humans tend to anthropomorphize and turn that which they worship or do not know into something
that doesn't address the question.
No, being a person. So Jacob, knowing that we have this psychological.
Jacob, the fact that human beings have faulty reasoning and they may have concluded that what is fundamental is personal does not justify. Okay, that's called the genetic fallacy.
So I understand, but I'm giving
you.
Good.
So do you have a rational justification? Listen carefully. The fact that you believe that people have anthropomorphized things or that they want to attribute personhood to it, that's besides the point. You have decided that what is foundational to all possibility is impersonal. How did you determine that?
Upon likelihood. So I realize that
you can't listen to me. It's a necessary state. Listen, Jacob, you can't apply likelihood because likelihood requires background information. And the background information is what determines the likelihood or probability of something. What is fundamental, listen carefully, that which is fundamental has no background information. So you can't apply a likelihood to it.
So are you saying that
that's a fallacious line of reasoning.
So do we have to come to knowledge of this?
You can only apply likelihood or probability when you know what is static along with what is dynamic. That's called background information.
Okay, so with no background information, how did you come to the conclusion that this thing
what I believe right now is not relevant because the topic at hand is why are you an atheist? I'll be glad to discuss with you in short order why I believe what I believe. Now, you told me you don't believe.
True. For the same reason,
please don't overtalk me.
Oh, true.
I'm not the one who's having trouble focusing here. Now, you believe that what is fundamental is impersonal. The fact that some people have used what you consider to be improper reasoning to arrive at conclusion X does not mean that the conclusion is not X. Do you understand what I just said to you?
I agree.
Good. So therefore, that does not hold water. Do you have any other justification of how you arrived at what is foundational and fundamental in reality is impersonal?
Sure. So similarly to the teapot, in which I would deny the existence of such a teapot.
That's irrelevant. That's Russell's teapot. It's irrelevant to the conversation.
No, but it's an analogy, right?
No,
because
Jacob, hey, Jacob, listen to me. Jacob, hey, Jacob, do you think I'm not familiar with Russell's teapot?
No, I'm sure you're very well.
Okay, good. It's irrelevant in this conversation.
No, but similarly,
it's a category error. I'm going to tell you why. Bertrand Russell made a huge blunder. Okay, it's because God is not like any other state of affairs. That's why the teapot analogy doesn't hold. Bertrand Russell made a blunder. He was a brilliant philosopher, but the teapot analogy is a blunder. And the reason why is this, is because God is what is fundamental and foundational and is transcendentally necessary. A teapot is not. Okay.
Sounds like a case of special pleading.
No, that's not special pleading. Okay. What is transcendentally primary in existence is not the same thing as something that is not transcendentally primary. That's not special pleading. Now listen carefully. Appealing to Russell's teapot may work for the man on the street that you're explaining your atheism to, but I'm well acquainted with Russell's reasoning about the teapot. It doesn't hold water, and it doesn't actually address my point, okay? Russell is conceiving of God as though God were a super powerful creature enveloped by one or more parameters that we are all surrounded by. But that's not the discussion at hand. What we're talking about, what is foundational and fundamental. We're not talking about another temporal entity out there that may exist or not exist, like a teapot. Now, how did you determine that what is fundamental is impersonal? Because you told me you don't have a reason to believe that it's personal. What is your reason to believe what is foundational and fundamental is impersonal?
Because I wouldn't have reason to assert its personhood. So
impersonal. You're not understanding.
So impersonal seems to be.
You're not understanding. That doesn't hold water.
So
not having a reason to assert. Okay, the impersonalness of the foundation is not a default position.
Well, certainly the personhood of it would also not be a default position.
Okay, saying when I ask you what is your reason, saying, well, I don't have a reason to believe it. Okay, I don't have a reason to believe that what is fundamental and is impersonal. I don't have a reason for that. So therefore, what is fundamental is personal. I'm using your reasoning. I don't have a reason to believe that that which is fundamental is impersonal. So therefore, what is fundamental is personal. I just used your reasoning.
So I take impersonal to be the negation of personal.
Okay. Right? Did you understand what I just said to you?
Yes, I'm following.
Okay. Did I not just use your reasoning?
It didn't seem to be my reasoning.
Okay, listen to me. You're not.
Maybe I'm not getting it.
You're not getting this.
Okay.
I don't have a reason to justify what is fundamental and foundational is impersonal. I don't have a reason for that. Am I therefore justified in believing that what is fundamental is personal?
No.
Good, then neither are you.
I would disagree, but
okay, you're not understanding this. This is going right over your head. So if we have proposition, listen carefully. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. Instead of saying God, we're going to say X. Okay.
Yes.
I don't have a reason to believe in X, therefore not X. That's your reasoning. Do you understand that before I move on?
Yes, that is my reasoning.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, I don't have a reason to believe in not X, therefore X. That is the same reasoning. Do you understand?
Okay, I see that it has the same logical form, but I'm not making...
It's the same. You're not understanding. What we have is a true dichotomy. X or not X.
It's a contradiction.
Okay. What's a contradiction?
I do understand that. Like,
hold on a second, Jacob. Jacob, hold on. What one?
No, I'm agreeing with Darth. He's saying that with that reason, right, you'll be contradicting yourself.
Okay, listen. All I have to do is plug in the values for X. Your reasoning is this. I don't have a reason to believe in X, therefore not X. That is the basis of your reasoning. Do you understand that before I move on?
So I am comfortable with that, knowing that it's not going to...
Okay, I asked you a question. Listen, dude. Listen, I'm getting frustrated with you. I
said yes.
Because this whole conversation, you are not focusing. Some of what you're saying is convoluted, and you're rabbit trailing. Your line of reasoning is as follows. True or false? I don't have a reason to believe in X, therefore not X. That is your reasoning, correct?
That is my reasoning. Yes. No, but it's
okay.
Not
now,
deductively valid.
Listen to me carefully. Yeah. I can simply say I don't have a reason to believe that what is foundational and fundamental is impersonal. Therefore, what is foundational is personal. That's your logic.
So I think what the mistake here that we're making is that we're
I have made no mistake, my friend. You're not getting your own error. You see, where because you're not convinced of X, okay? You're not convinced. Then how is it that because you're not convinced that the negation of X is true? How does that follow?
Right. So I recognize that if the statement I was making was a deductive statement, that the statement you made would also deductively follow. However, the statement I made was not a deductive statement.
Okay, listen
and
to
there
me
is a difference between asserting something as true of the world.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Your position.
Not asserting something.
Okay, listen to me. Either what is fundamental and foundational is personal or impersonal. Okay? Now, not having a reason for one does not default you to its negation. Do you understand the fallacy you've committed?
I agree that that is not a deductively logical statement. Sure. But
okay. So the point is this: do you have a reason at all to believe that there is anything fundamental? Okay.
So
okay. What is your rational justification?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Can you please identify for me and defend what is it that is fundamental then, that is impersonal? What is it?
Well, I would say that we have certain fundamental basic
beliefs. Not talking to we. I'm talking to you.
I would say that I have certain fundamental basic beliefs.
No. Okay. Okay. Listen to me carefully. Focus.
I am.
What specifically is it that is fundamental? What is it?
Well, I was going to speak on the law of non-contradiction.
The law of non-contradiction doesn't stand in causal relations. Therefore, it cannot be fundamental to all possibility. The law of non-contradiction does not prevent me from jumping to the moon.
True. I would agree with that.
Good. So therefore, it cannot be fundamental.
So I would just not make any statements about what is fundamental. I would say that could be personal, could be impersonal, but
so there is no there is no nothing. Your world can't have evidence for anything, because evidence required. Listen, Jacob, evidence requires that there be something that is fundamental, that institutes what's possible and impossible, and imposes what is, can be, and cannot be, and imposes causal succession. Now, is there something that is foundational and fundamental that imposes the principle of causality universally?
I would never make that statement. Something I
then you can't. Then you can't. Then your model of reality in your not God model of reality, you have nothing to ground that there can be evidence. So, in other words, you don't have a reason to believe that there can be evidence of things, that things are causally related or causally linked. All right.
Well, I would say that I don't know if cause exists in the world or if it's merely
okay. Why are you lying? Why are you lying? Did you eat today? Did you eat today?
Can I finish?
Did you eat today?
I don't know whether.
Did you eat today? Did you eat? Okay, you know what? You're an idiot. We're done with you. Goodbye. Get out of here. You're an idiot. See, this is what people do. They want to be stuck on stupid. Yeah, this is the problem. You know, when you're dealing with people who choose, and I emphasize the word choose, to be stuck on stupid. They choose to have a third grader's mentality about things, and they're grown adults. It's pointless carrying on a conversation with them. Pointless. He sounded like he's a grown man, but he didn't reason like an adult.
Did he say he didn't believe in causation?
Something to that effect. I mean, the guy was stuck on stupid from the beginning to the end of the interaction. I'll be glad to discuss with you in short order why I believe what I believe. Now, you told me you don't believe.
True. For the same reason,
please don't overtalk me. By the way, did you get that, Tom Rabbit?